Hey folks, welcome back to another short story with Sheena. This week, I want to tell you a little bit about an incident we call Fork in the Eye Guy. This gentleman had been in a domestic dispute at home. Law enforcement had been called, and according to the story I got from law enforcement, he had a warrant out for his arrest. So when law enforcement arrived on scene, they advised the gentleman, listen, you're going to have to come with us, regardless of the situation. Obviously, he didn't appreciate hearing that information, so according to the officers, he ran to the back of the mobile home in which he was living, barricaded the door, and then proceeded to take as many pills as he could simply find. So, as is protocol, instead of going directly to jail, not passing go, not collecting $200, he instead had to come down to the hospital for an overnight observation, which is always a little tricky as far as, whose custody this gentleman ends up being. So, the next morning, law enforcement arrived, and that is when I got a code call. Well, with these code calls, it's generally somebody has become violent, belligerent, aggressive, and so normally when I show up to these calls, there's stuff flying, people running, I hear lots of shouting, loud, screaming, whatever. Well, I get the code call, and I take off booking it, trying to get to the situation, figure out exactly where I need to be, and as I arrive kind of on the floor that this incident should be happening, everything is calm, it's cool, nothing's going on. So I'm already, wheels are starting to turn. What's going on? Something's not quite right. So I arrive on scene. Yeah, there's an officer standing outside the door. I'm kind of looking at him like, hey, what's the deal? Do you really need me? You're the one who's supposed to have the authority. He just kind of shrugs his shoulder and he's like, yeah, he's not in our custody yet, and kind of just shoos me in the door. So I walk into the door, and here I've got the gentleman sitting on the bed and two staff with him. He's got a plate of food in front of him. And that's when I notice that he is holding his eye, but through his fingers happens to be a fork that is now wiggling around, right? A little nerve-wracking to see at first. So I asked the staff, who are like, yeah, he's compliant, whatever. I'm like, what's going on? What do you need me for? They're like, well, he took that plastic fork and jammed it in his eye. What? So I asked him, because the guy's compliant. I said, buddy, hey, what is the deal? What's going on? What did you stick a fork in your eye for? And he just simply responded, he thought it was the best way to get out of jail. Now, I probably could have responded better, because my response simply was, well, now you're going to jail with an eye patch, which was not the correct answer. He didn't get violent. Actually, at that point in time, he proceeded to cry. But yeah, looking at that, we had a doctor come in, make an evaluation of how deep it was into the eyeball. Turns out he didn't get it too terribly full. He was followed up with some antibiotics, and then he was asked to speak with his primary care physician and have the jail staff take care of him further. But yeah, that is my fork in the eye incident. And as I cleared the incident, I remember reaching to my radio and saying, well, stick a fork in me, I'm done.